Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Cyberdark Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for Post-Alliance Insight. We got a few new Cyber Dragon and Cyberdark cards in the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set. A very fun deck that focuses on being able to make use of the different machine monsters and dragon monsters for a Cyberdark and Cyber End Dragon combination of a deck, being able to get out our big boss monsters, Cyberdark and Dragon, and then utilize the different forms of these Cyber Dragon monsters with our new forms being the Cyber Jormungandr and then the Cyber Dark Worm added into the mix for the different monsters we can run in the deck now as well. Missing a few cards for the deck, but I figured I'd show you the spots where I would place some of these cards, one of them being Cyber Dark Chimera, which I do want to run in the deck. I just didn't know where I placed my copies of it for the update, but I know I'm behind on getting you all an update to this deck, so better late than never. Let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Cyberdark monsters, we're running 3 copies of our Cyberdark Claw. If this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can target one Cyberdark monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. You can only use each of the following effects of Claw once per turn. You can discard this card to add one Cyberdark spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Or during damage calc, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So setting up the monsters in the extra deck to the graveyard gives us more of a setup to then equip onto our other monsters, and then just being able to have the additional search for some of our Cyberdark cards also does come in handy for this card being a 3-of searcher. We're also running 2 copies of Cyberdark Cannon. This could potentially be a 1-of. It searches out Cyberdark monsters. Plus, it can also be a spot to replace for a copy of Cyberdark Chimera in the deck also. If this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can draw 1 card. You can only use each of the following effects of Cannon once per turn. You can discard this card to add 1 machine Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand. So the machine variants being the Keel, Horn, and Edge that we run. And also during damage calc, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard, giving you more or less setup for the main deck monsters in the graveyard to use, with the other Cyberdark monsters being the 1, at least for the old Cyberdark monsters, 1 Keel, 1 Horn, and then 1 Edge. With the other monsters, Cannon and Claw, being dragon monsters, we can use these 3 monsters to equip those monsters onto these cards when they're normal summon, since they are level 3 or lower, and then give the additional attack boost of those monsters, and also the additional effects of being equipped on to those cards for setup for our other plays. The new cards that I run in the deck include the 1 copy of Cyberdark Worm and the 1 copy of Cyber Jormungandr. With Cyberdark Worm, this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is in the hand or graveyard while you have another machine cyber monster in your field or graveyard, you can send 1 Cyber Dragon monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard to special in this card. Then you can add 1 Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. You can use each of the effects of Cyberdark Worm once per duel. So you have the once per duel effect with Cyberdark Worm. That's why we're only running the 1 copy. But the search and setup, and also having it be counted as Cyber Dragon on the field, definitely does come in handy. With Cyber Jormungandr being able to not be normal or special summon or set, it must be special summoned by a card effect. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then take 1 Cyber Dragon monster from your deck and either special summon it or equip it to this card as an equip spell. Also, you can special summon for the rest of the turn except machine monsters. And you can return 1 Cyber Dragon you control the hand to add 1 polymerization from your deck or a graveyard to your hand. So this is a once per turn effect, but still just a 1-of tech because we can set it up with other cards in the deck as well. And also being able to have that search for another fusion spell to make use of in the deck also. For our Cyber Dragon monsters, the 1 copy of the original Cyber Dragon, along with the 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Nexter. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or graveyard. You can discard 1 other monster to special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in your graveyard and special summon it. And then you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except machine monsters. You can only use each effect of Nexter once per turn, but set up to grab another Cyber Dragon, and also being able to utilize the other 2 monsters we mentioned as well with our original Cyber Dragon to also have access to some of our Xyz plays in the extra deck to go into also. We're also running 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. It's just search power with this card also becoming Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. And if it's normal summon, you can add one cyber spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon one Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. You can only use each effect of core once per turn and only once that turn. Having more Cyber Dragon options with those summons, depending on which monster we also want to summon out on the field, but also working together so we can get those setups for our other cards as well, using our Cyber Dragon core to add the cyber spells that mentioned before that can be searched off of our Cyberdark cards or our Cyber Dragon core also. And then the rest of the main deck monsters just being the hand trap lineup. If you want to run Fualos, you can always replace the Nibiru in this slot for the Fualos position there. For the spells, we're running 3 copies of Cyberdark Realm. When this card's activated, you can add one Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one Cyberdark monster. You can only easily use this effect of Cyberdark Realm once per turn. If you equip a monster from your graveyard by the effect of a Cyberdark monster that activated when it was normal or special summon, you can equip from your opponent's graveyard instead. So being able to take that opponent's resource is a big part of this play, but also search power on top of everything else from the different Cyberdark monsters from our deck as well. Running only a 1-of copy gives us access to Cyberdark Worm, all the easier also with this card. We're also running 3 copies of Cybernetic Horizon. This card's always treated as a Cyberdark card, and you can send 2 Dragon and or Machine Cyber monsters with different attributes to the graveyard, 1 each from your hand or deck. Add 1 Dragon or Machine Cyber monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do send 1 Machine Cyber Fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, you can activate 1 Cybernetic Horizon per turn, and you cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate this except for machine monsters. Once again, no restriction for that special summon since we mostly just summon machines from the extra deck to begin with, thanks to our lineup. With our other fusion spells being the setup of 2 Overload Fusion. This could also potentially be Power Bond if you want to go for more of the double attack option. We run a good variety of dark attribute fusions to summon out, so just having the option to banish from your side of the field or your graveyard with Overload Fusion just comes in handy, because then we'll use our other fusion cards for our hand, including the Cyberload Fusion, and then also the one option of the hand fusion summoning with Polymerization, the Cyberdark Impact for getting out our Cyberdark Dragon by shuffling back Horn, Edge, and Keel from the hand, field, or graveyard as well, with some of the more generic spells being the 2 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust and the 1 Talents. Once again, additional search for some of the normal spells we may need in the deck. And then the rest of these spells, I have Fusion Deployment in here as a reveal special summon option. If you wanted to run Cyber Emergency instead in this spot, you can always replace it for that card as well. We just have the specific names for cards like Cyberdark Dragon and other cyber monsters to give us those resources from the deck onto the field. With our only trap that we run in the deck being the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, just added, hand trap power with the other main deck monsters we run in the deck also. For the extra deck, we run 1 copy of our big boss monsters, Cyberdark and Dragon. Must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing 1 level 10 or lower Cyberdark Fusion, equipped with Cyber and Dragon, and then unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. And once per turn, you can equip 1 monster from either graveyard to this card. This card can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of equipped cards to it. So then the bigger play is just to have the added equip of cards like Cyber Darkness Dragon, being able to special summon this card and equip 1 Dragon or Machine monster from your graveyard to this card, which then we will use to equip on our Cyber End Dragon that we've sent off of cards like our Cyber Dark Claw, equipped to another monster, the 1 original Cyber Dark Dragon, along with the End Dragon as mentioned before, to equip onto this card, then having the tribute play to get out our Cyber Dark End Dragon, the 1 copy of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, with more of our fusions being the Mega Fleet Dragon, the Chimera Tech Over Dragon, the 1 Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, and 1 Hesvasarog, the Mechanical Dawn, to finish off the fusion monsters, with our Xyz monsters being the 1 Cyber Dragon Nova and the 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity, just the overlay power for 2 level 5 machine monsters, and then having the Omni Negate power of Cyber Dragon Infinity on top of that, with our next monsters being the Link monster lineup. Cyber Dragon Seeger would be in the spot for Donner Dagger for Hire, just as a good link to Cyber Dragon monster to go into. The 1 Lena the Light Charmer, the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and then the 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, to finish off the extra deck. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I mentioned before, having the search power with cards like our Cyber Dark Realm to be able to search out the Cyberdark monster, being our new Cyberdark worm, can help to set up more and more plays as well, having the needed play of adding out that monster, and then being able to have another machine cyber monster in your field or graveyard to send one monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard to special summon this card. So with this, you can then send your Cyber Dragon from your deck to the graveyard, and all of this can be started with the normal summon of Cyber Dragon Core, searching out our Cyberdark Realm, then using Realm to search out our Cyberdark Worm, and then if this card's in our hand or graveyard, if you have another machine monster on your field, which we do, we can send the Cyber Dragon from our hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon this card, and then you can add one Cyber Spell or Trap from your graveyard to your hand, so you have that add back power if need be as well, thanks to this card. So this could always have been the added setup with cards like Cyberdark Horizon or Cyberknight Horizon to add back from our deck to our hand as well, but then giving us that additional setup with these cards gives us an added resource in the graveyard along with the initial monster setup we have on the field as well to make use of. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, I was missing a couple cards here and there, but mentioned throughout the video what you would replace for those specific spots, especially for the Cyberdark Chimera and some of the other extra deck monsters, along with the Cyber Emergency Spell. But as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.